Microsoft Flight Simulator, although very buggy in the initial release, has come with a lot of enhancements compared to its predecessor, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. One of the main features that it featured that's different than Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is the new cloud-based feature. You can pause the video if you want to go ahead and read more of the article, but basically what it kind of goes over is instead of downloading physical data onto your hard drives, which is what 2020 kind of did and what other simulators tend to do, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 taps into the quote unquote cloud. And so what this does is it first eliminates and trims down the installation size by, they say here, 30 gigabytes. And apparently, according to its CEO, it brings the overall bandwidth consumption way down because you only download really what you see. We don't pre-download the hundreds of gigabytes. So that's definitely interesting to kind of hear. And a lot of people are frustrated with it because what it seems like in the first couple of weeks is that, yeah, your installation size is a lot smaller, as you can see here in the comparison with my Flight Simulator 2020 and my Flight Simulator 2024. Now, granted, the 2020 community folder has a bunch of add-ons in it, so yes, it'll be way bigger, but as you can see, it's dramatically bigger than the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 folder. So yes, it does trim down the installation size. However, some people notice that sometimes when you load in, or if you have slower internet speeds, cockpit textures are blurry, runway textures are blurry. Different things that are downloaded to this cloud are just blurry and just don't look the way they should look. So that posed the question that a lot of people have, and one that I'm wanting to figure out the answer to. What happens if you don't have good internet speed, and what happens if you just don't have internet speed in general? Is there an offline mode that you can fly on? And if so, how good or how bad does it actually look? Before we jump into the simulator, I want to go ahead and show you guys the specs that came out for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. These are the PC minimum specs, recommended specs, and ideal specs. If we skip over to the ideal specs, you could go ahead and see that it requires for the ideal 100 megabytes of internet. The recommended is 50 megabytes, and the minimum is 10 megabytes. So that's just kind of giving you an idea of what internet speeds they say you should have for the minimum spec, the recommended spec, and the ideal spec. Right now, I'm typically getting around 100 to 300 megabytes, just depending on how slow or fast the internet is. So what I'm going to do is literally go into the simulator, and I'm just going to turn off the internet, and we're just going to explore.
Before I begin with the video, I want to give a quick shout out to all the student pilot members out there. Our membership is growing day by day, so I really appreciate all the members for joining. If you're interested in joining the student pilot membership, all you have to do is go next to the subscribe button. You want to go ahead and hit that join button. It's $2.99 a month, and you get 4 free emojis, as well as channel benefits like shout outs in the comments and live streams, as well as before videos just like this one. So if you're interested in that and want to support the channel, you can go ahead and become a student pilot. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video.
All right, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and launch Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We're going to go ahead and come over to my Wi-Fi settings, and we're just going to literally just turn off the Wi-Fi. I have no hardware connection or anything, so this should put me with zero Wi-Fi. I now have zero Wi-Fi on my PC, and we'll see how this loads. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, our first error. Internet connection required. Trying to connect to your network. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 requires a constant internet connection. Please check your connection status and continue. So there you have it, folks. You cannot indeed play Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in offline mode. Now, the reason why I kind of had this question was because what if, for some reason, your internet goes down, but you still wanted to fly your flight simulator, right? Or maybe you're in a part of the country that doesn't have good internet, and sometimes the internet drops for a little bit. If it just doesn't give you the option to fly the simulator, then what's the point of spending at the very least, at the base game, $70 for a flight simulator you can't fly unless you have good enough internet connection? Now, I don't know how minimum the connection has to be. I wonder if I could connect to my hotspot, which should give me around 50 megabytes a second. I don't know if that could give me enough internet to play the game, but there you go. You cannot play Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in offline mode. There's just no such thing as an offline mode. Now, for testing, what I'm going to do is close the sim in the same configuration where Wi-Fi is turned off. We're going to go ahead and launch Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and see if we can go ahead and get in. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and we're able to actually, you know, be in the game. So if you go ahead and notice, um, let's just go to this airport. If we go ahead and notice, we jump into the game. Obviously, with it being offline, you won't have photogrammetry and you won't have all the stuff such as live weather and stuff like that, I don't believe, just because obviously that takes data. Um, but what you can do is you can still fly in the simulator. Now, will it look as good as a photogrammetry? No. Will it, you know, I don't know. Will it look the same as Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 if it had data? Obviously not. And unfortunately, that's what happens when your simulator is in a cloud. Now, this is for the people who don't have any internet. So obviously, if you have silver internet, you would be able to still play Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. But how good it will look, I have no idea. Obviously, if it's heavily reliant on the good internet speeds, then perhaps your textures might be blurry, perhaps things might be missing in the cloud. And as you can see, as we load up, it just very much, let's just call it as it is. It just looks like X-Plane, where it has just random, um, random buildings for your photogrammetry. I mean, obviously this is a third-party scenery, so like the terminal and stuff like that look good. But yeah, if you can still fly Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, as you can see here in the offline mode. Um, if GSX wants to close, no, it won't. Okay. Anyway, so you could go ahead and fly in 2020 without internet, but as you saw in 2024, that was just not possible. You cannot fly without internet. So good to know. I kind of suspected that, but I wasn't 100% sure. But now it's been confirmed. You cannot fly in 2024 without internet. Um, again, I could try to see one day if my internet is slow enough to try to test it. Let's say if it's at like 100 megabytes, we could test it to see if it'll still load. Um, and we could just kind of do that maybe. Um, but yeah, so this is just kind of an experimental video of kind of what it looks like if you have an internet. Obviously, you can't fly 2024, but if you do have internet, or excuse me, if you don't have internet, or it's hard to get internet where you are, or something like that, and you don't want to rely on internet, I should say, then Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 might be the simulator that you should stick with and not upgrade. Because I know a lot of people are thinking about upgrading to 2024, but there's just some issues about it that don't want to make them jump over to 2024 just yet. And this could be one of them. If you don't want to rely on 2024 or excuse me, rely on Wi-Fi that much, then 2024 is not your simulator. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like experiment. I know it was a shorter video. I expected it to be longer. I didn't think you could actually not fly in 2024, but unfortunately, as you saw, you cannot. So go ahead and let me know what other experiments you want me to do in 2024. Let me know, is cloud-based flight simulation the future? Do you want more simulators like X-Plane and other simulators to be like that? Do you want Microsoft Flight Simulator 20, I don't know, 28 or whatever it's going to be next time, to continue the cloud-based stuff, or do you think cloud-based is just terrible and you think that it should be optional to download the 700 gigabytes worth of a game on your hard drive if you want to be able to play it like this? For me, I feel like that's what I would do. I'd rather have a M.2 drive, which is what I have. I'd rather have a dedicated 1 terabyte M.2 drive to a flight simulator and be able to play it whenever I want, even without internet, than to rely on internet and just not be able to fly the sim, but then have it only be, 100 gigabytes or whatever it is, right? So let me know what your opinion is, because I know people are kind of split on that. Let me know what other experiments you want me to do in 2024 to see if 2024 is worth getting for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We are going to be doing a live stream this Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be flying Alaska Virtual Airlines. We're going to do a Portland turn, so we're going to go from LAX to Portland, Portland back down to LAX. We're going to be doing it in the iFly 737 MAX 8. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a short one. Again, I'm sorry that it was short and kind of, you know, Not really much information, but it's an experiment, and sometimes experiments do happen like this. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you so much for everybody who has been supportive on the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.